Someone farted in my chair while I was out of town, and I intend to get to the bottom of it.
How long have you been with her?
All right, here's what happened. While I was out of town, I got an email from a listener. Attached was a screen recording from our live feed, capturing what appeared to be the exact moment that Moon farted in my chair.
Brown, lay down.
If it's white, good night.
Now here's the thing. I have a strict no farting policy in the studio. We're in a tiny room for 4 hours a day, every morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you have to fart, do the courteous thing and leave the room. Now, after seeing this email, one of my co-hosts, Rafe Williams, launched an investigation. He had the video team pull the footage for us to review in studio live on air.
First person I'd like to interrogate, the person who has professionally made a job of making fart sounds anytime somebody bends down around them. And that's King Scott.
Oh.
So King Scott, the video only shows me, but all the microphones are on. Did you maybe by chance, even accidentally or
because you'll do it like even, unconsciously do it.
Like you'll go ferp.
Well, I would never do it for a cheap laugh, especially on
Not
air.
this guy. Now, Moon's style wasn't convincing, but he raised a valid point.
The video only shows me, but all the microphones are on.
Anyone in that room could have made that sound. Was it just a coincidence that Moon leaned over at that exact moment? Now, to find out, we took the investigation a step further. We have 5 cameras in that studio, so we could see exactly what everyone was doing when the noise occurred. Let's look at Moon again. He makes the lean. It looks bad. But Moon blames King Scott. And if you know King Scott, he's always making fart noises with his mouth. So we pulled up his camera. He actually does move his mouth right around that time. But it doesn't match up with the audio. Then we check Rafe's camera. And if you watch him, he does this very subtle but very suspicious lean right at that exact moment.
Good night.
And then there's Tina. She was a guest on the show that day. Now, she has this huge reaction right at this moment, but she's also shifting in her seat right when it happens.
If it's white, good night.
So the footage is inconclusive. Everyone is moving, but watching Tina shift around gave me an idea. What if it wasn't a person at all? What if it was the chair? So I decided to test the theory myself. I got in the chair and tried to recreate the exact conditions. I leaned over just like Moon did. I shifted my weight around like Tina. I bounced in it, I twisted, I spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to force this chair to make that exact sound. Nothing. The chair theory was a bust. It became pretty obvious that this wasn't mechanical. It came from a person. So if I was going to figure out who actually made the noise, I realized I needed a baseline. I needed a control sample. So to do a proper audio comparison, we had to get scientific. I needed an audio signature from everyone to compare against the original sound from the live stream. I made a very simple request. Moon, Rafe, King Scott, and Tina each had to go home, record a control fart, and submit the raw audio file for forensic analysis.
That should get me off the hook.
Now, once I had the samples, we brought them all into the editing software. The plan was to stack the sound waves next to each other and see which one matched the audio from the studio. But before we even compared the files, the audio team noticed an acoustic anomaly. Now, according to flatology experts, which is the actual scientific study of human flatulence, a standard human sphincter is capable of producing low frequencies. But the sound captured in our live stream registered a heavy, booming bass tone well below 100 hertz. Too low to be produced by your average butthole. This brings us to the proximity effect. Our broadcast microphones naturally boost low-end bass, but only when the sound source is right up against the mic. Now, if Moon had actually farted in that chair, the point of origin would have been nearly 3 feet away from the capsule. The butt to mic distance is too far. The physics just don't add up. At that distance, a sub 100 hertz frequency would completely dissipate before hitting the microphone. To get a bass signature that deep and that rich, the origin of the sound had to be less than 2 inches away. It couldn't have come from the chair. It had to come from a mouth. So to really examine the original file, we had to slow it down. And as we stretched out that audio to analyze the frequencies, something really weird happened. When we dropped the speed down, the waveform shifted. It no longer sounded like a fart, it sounded like a voice. In fact, it sounded like Tina's voice. If we take a closer look at Tina, you could see she opened her mouth to speak, changed her mind, and abruptly cut off her own vocal cords. That sudden burst of air hitting the microphone created an acoustic signature similar to a fart. So that's it. Moon is officially exonerated. The zero tolerance policy remains intact. But how did we get here?
Oh, Moon farting in my chair yesterday. Yep.
In your chair.
A listener sent in an isolated clip, one camera angle, one narrow perspective.
Did you fart in my chair?
I told you no, man. There are rules.
That happened a couple years ago.
There are rules.
We didn't question it. Instead, a group of close-ish friends turned on each other.
Your hands are sweaty.
No, they're not.
Yes,
Yours
they are. Ew, your hands are
you
so
pull yours
sweaty.
out of a microwave.
All
What's
right,
wrong with
no,
your
his hands are gross.
We were so ready to believe the worst. Probably because, on some level, we wanted to. We wanted the drama.
Dude,
Dude, that's AI.
play it one more time. It's not AI, dude. That is a straight clip. Dude. It got through. Somehow. He did some sleight of hand, and he got it past all of us. You lifted.
Yeah, I did.
You lifted.
And what does that say about us? That all it takes is a 4-second screen grab and a weird noise to completely divide the show?
Do the lean and push on that arm. No, it was the other arm, and you know it. Use your right hand and do what I did. You just saw
What did
this
you
thing.
do?
Perhaps the greater lesson here is that the glue that holds the show together is fragile. The zero tolerance policy was designed to protect the air quality in the studio, but we forgot to protect the trust. A single misunderstood syllable almost tore this room apart. We have to be better than that. Case closed. We did it. We did it.